Kia ora and talofa, my name is Mihi Nemani. Welcome to my presentation titled Weaving Culture and Fitness Practices in Aotearoa, the Role of Physical Activity in the Lives of Young Māori and Pasifika Wahine. This is my current PhD research. For reference, Māori are the indigenous people of Aotearoa and Pasifika are individuals whose ethnicity and culture whakapapa or descend from the Pacific Islands such as Samoa, Fiji, Niue and Tonga. And I want to also highlight and acknowledge the young wahine who are in these slides that you're going to see today. And they are young wahine who I have taught, I've coached, I've trained, and in many decades I've been involved in the sport, fitness and recreation industry. They're Māori and Pasifika, they live in South Auckland, and I've added them here because it's their voices that I'm aiming to amplify in my project, in my presentation. Sadly, Māori and Pasifika are often referred to in a negative context. Here's some media headings that portray a dominant discourse about Māori and Pasifika. These headings refer to crime, poverty, and even the COVID-19 headings refer to concerns about Māori and Pasifika. Research that has been conducted on Māori and Pasifika are also framed in this negative context. There's poor health statistics, obesity, diabetes, and so forth. These things are rife in these communities, and so academics take a deficit approach to try and go into the communities and fix what they're saying. But there's also researchers that go into communities to conduct research on them as opposed to with them. Now, I've no doubt that these scholars have the best intentions when they're doing this, but sometimes there's cultural differences and lack of living and understanding the people in these communities that results in missed nuanced details that could otherwise provide some really rich and informed data. So my project is about these young wahine, and it's giving them space to amplify their voices despite the negative media discourses and the negative statistical data around Māori and Pasifika in their participation in physical activity. I'm highlighting young wahine who make space in their lives for doing for physical activity and fitness. They are participating and they're doing it for their own way, reasons and in their own way. And this project's important to me because there's so much positivity in Māori and Pasifika communities that isn't often highlighted and in media or research. And I'm also doing this because I'm Samoan Māori and I'm from these communities as well. So with my research questions, I wanted to find out the role that physical activity and fitness plays in the lives of these young wahine from low socioeconomic urban areas in Aotearoa. And some of the things I wanted to find out were how do they see themselves in the fitness space? What things do they enjoy doing? Why do they enjoy it? And what will support their participation? And how do they navigate challenges to prioritize physical activity and fitness in their lives? So the way that I did this was I had 2 1-hour wānanga and they were 5 months apart. And during the 5 months, they were gathering data, they were creating their own story and getting information that they then shared with me at the second wānanga. One of the things I made sure I did was I wove mana wahine and masi methodologies into my practice. For example, I would pick them up and drop them off, or I would also prepare a full meal for them. I really valued their time and I wanted to show them, show that I did value them. And that was part of making them feel important for their voices and for the knowledge that they had to share with me. I also designed and gave each of them a t-shirt and a koha at the very last wānanga or whono. So the participants that I had for this project, I had 31 wahine aged between 16 to 25 years old, and they identified as being Māori and Pasifika. They came from either Porirua or South Auckland. Now they'd previously or currently were engaged in any type of physical activity, fitness or sport. 16 were from South Auckland and 15 were from Porirua. 17 were Māori, 22 were Pasifika. Interestingly, 16 of them had mixed ethnicities. In terms of where they were from in stages in life, 7 were in high school, 10 were engaged in tertiary studies, and 3 had actually graduated with a tertiary qualification. 16 were employed and 4 had children, and one of them were born during the data gathering stages. And I was really excited with the range and the variety that I had of participants, because I thought it was a good scope to indicate the age, the ethnicity, and the stages of life that these young wahine were at. The next few slides I'm sharing with you are some of the themes and quotes that I'm using for my first empirical chapter, and it's titled "This is Who We Are." It's based on the belief that if you don't know me, how can you actually understand me? So these are some of the things that I found out about their life. They have cultural expectations placed on them because they are the young wahine in their home. And some of these expectations include babysitting. They have to work to help to pay the bills. They are the mother figure sometimes because both parents are working. One of the quotes is this: "There's pressure to be a good daughter, then a good sister to your siblings, then a good mother to your children, then a good wife to your husband. How do you balance all of that together? Then also trying to look after yourself mentally and emotionally, because man, that's a lot of people to impress." Some of the other things they experience are stereotypes of not being good at academics or and only good at sport or music. They're also treated differently in society. A lot of them mentioned that they were followed in shops for no apparent reason other than being brown. Some of them went to job interviews for office positions, and it was assumed that they were there for the factory jobs. Just a lot of different things in society that they have to navigate around. In education, some of them had scholarships, and they said, oh yeah, it was like we weren't treated like we were brainy. It's just because we were Māori, that's why we got it. People judge their bodies. And a quote from one of the participants says, a sports coach I had saying that I'm overweight compared to most of the girls on my team because they're all skinny white things. I went to an East Auckland school. The ways that they navigated their stereotypes, and which I thought was awesome, is that they used hauora, which is a Māori philosophy of health and well-being, and they used that to influence their views of themselves and their meaning of being healthy. They had a positive mindset of who they were and who they represented, their whānau or family, their ethnicity, generational responsibilities as well. They argued back against some of the judgments on their bodies, and they appreciated their bodies and what they could do. Some of them were really strong. They acknowledged the awesome things that they could do as well, which was great. And one of the things that they did acknowledge too was that they understood the bodies on social media weren't attainable, and they were not trying to let that influence themselves in the way that they felt about themselves. They said, yes, we did see it. We do understand it. We know it exists, but we're not going to allow that to go into our lives. So it's not that they didn't know that it existed, but there was no representation of themselves in those spaces, and they realized that there's no way that they could achieve those things. For my last statements, I suppose, my last couple of quotes from these participants, and it's telling you who they are. They're saying, this is me. So I'm just going to read these out. Just being of Māori Pacific descent, it just makes me proud, full stop, like nothing else. It's proud. It's kind of like the outsiders compared to everyone, we're the main ethnicity that get, crapped on here in Aotearoa. So kind of, it's just one thing. I'm proud to be Māori Pacific. I'll never want to change, my ethnicity ever. And another participant, my last participant that I'm going to quote today, I embrace my culture the most by just being me. I love my family dearly. I love my culture and where I come from. So anything I do, I take pride in my heritage and my family. I carry them with me. It's just something I always carry with me. That mana, that strength, that, you're just not alone. Because even in the darkest places, I know that I'll get through it. Ngā mihi nui. Whawhetai lava. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's my reference pages. Thank you very much. Take care and enjoy the rest of the conference.